Okay, the time is 6:42, and I call the regular meeting of the Milliken Board of Trustees for May 12, 2021 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the town clerk please call roll?
Trustee Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Wakeman.
Here.
Trustee Granquist.
Here.
Trustee Long.
Here.
Trustee Meisner.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Here.
Mayor Austin.
Here. Thank you. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yeah, Mayor, I would like to delete item number 13, the executive session is no longer needed on tonight's agenda.
Thank you. Any other changes? I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve agenda with changes.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any citizens' comments tonight about anything that is not on our agenda? No citizens' comments? Okay. Citizens' comment is closed. We will move on to the meeting minutes. Is there any discussion or comments on the meeting minutes of April 28th? Take a motion.
I move to approve April 28, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, we're up to the town administrator's report. Administrator Powell.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and trustees. Well, this past Saturday, we had cleanup day. It was very successful, in my opinion, better than what we did last year. From the numbers I received, there was approximately 329 vehicles that went through for cleanup day. Metal recycling that we obtained from there amounted to about $2,000. So between the money we collected for the 329 vehicles at $10 a vehicle and plus the $2,000 will go towards the expense of the cleanup day. So I think that went very well. And we're looking at doing another one in the fall. So
Nice.
I just wanted to bring you an update on the computer and learning center, library / coffee house. I asked Christy Plum with the library district to provide me with numbers that they receive every month for computer usage at the library. So I'm going to go back a few months and I'm going to just read you off some of the numbers. So August 2020, there were 33 people that use the computers there. September was 35. October was 38. November was 30. December was 23. January, there were 19. February and March, we were closed due to the renovations. April of this year, we had 95. And so, plus, they also had an additional 45 patrons check out over 200 items in the library. So, I think we made a right decision in spending some money to renovate and to putting the coffee house in there. So I think it's going to be very successful. People seem to enjoy it every time I walk in there. So
Didn't we come in pretty close to our $8,000 budget on that renovation?
yes, we did. Very close. Very close.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just to keep you updated, along the way, we had the kickoff meeting today regarding the broadband needs assessment and feasibility study. So Johnstown, Berthoud, Meade, and ourselves met via Zoom with Magellan. I'm trying to think of his name, John Hunker with Magellan. And then Peakview Enterprises, which is our owner's rep on that project. 2-hour Zoom meeting, but it was very beneficial. The residents in all communities will soon see in either June or July a survey going out to them asking questions. Those questions will help both Magellan and the owner's rep see what the residents in each of the communities are looking for, cost-wise, so on and so forth. So I will keep you updated on that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you very much. So there is nothing on the consent agenda. The board will now convene as the Liquor Licensing Authority. First item on the agenda is a public hearing for a retail liquor license application for fine wine and spirits. Carrie Reinbarger, Town Clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. Tonight we're asking for your consideration of approval for a retail liquor license for the location of 1750 Broad Street, Unit 100, next to Anytime Fitness. From Mr. Navdeep Paul. Did I say that right? He submitted the application to the town on April 2nd and has been sent to the Colorado Department of Revenue for their joint review. At this time, both the background and the liquor license with the state have been approved pending your approval. The staff report and posting of the board meeting are prepared in accordance with Municipal Section 6210 through 6240, 62230, and 62310. Public hearing was noticed on April 15th, 2021. The applicant fulfilled the requirements of the neighborhood needs and desires on May 4th, which was attached in your report. They are here if you have any questions for them at this time.
Okay. This is a public meeting, so the time is 6:50, and I'm opening the public hearing. I believe Fine Wines and Spirits representative is now at the podium, so we'll start with questions from the board.
Well, we have, my name is Chris Holton. I'm an attorney, registration number 8321, representing the applicant. And at the board's pleasure, I mean, we have a presentation and we're prepared to cover several items that we think that you'd like to hear about.
Please proceed.
Our first witness will be Carol Johnson. She's with Liquor Pros, and she's going to present the petition results.
Good evening. Just briefly, since we haven't been here before, we'll go through just a little bit of how we approach this. We always meet at the location, review what the petition is concerning. We start the closest to the location and try to radiate out in all four directions, in all four quadrants, because the people that are the closest are the ones that are the most impacted. We do the same thing with businesses. In this particular area doesn't have an excess of businesses, and I think I went to them all and a couple times just to get as many as we could. The residents and the businesses were done petitioned on Thursday, April 29th and Saturday, May 1st. And there was contact made with 13 businesses and 280 residents for 293 attempts, of which we got 95 signatures. And that is a good percentage. We usually average one out of 4 people home, that type of thing, or owners or managers at the businesses. There were 9 signatures from business owners or managers. All 9 were in support. There were 86 residential petition signatures. 81 were in support for 94%. 5 were in opposition. So there were a total of 90 in favor and 95% and 5 opposed. However, the 5 that were in opposition, 2 were against alcohol and 3 were considering competition with the other stores. There were 13 people who declined to participate. 8 were not interested, 3 were too busy, and 2 were against alcohol but just chose not to sign yes or no. We had 10 that were not qualified, 4 were under 21, 3 were non-residents, and 3 businesses did not have an owner or manager. So based on the relative needs and desires that we are allowed to count, this petition was 100%, 90 signatures in support for 100%. And I would be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the board on the,
I believe you do have the map, so you can see the areas that we did cover, quite extensive, different areas of residence.
Carol, do you want to tell the authority a little bit about Liquor Pros, though, how long they've been doing this?
Okay. Well, Liquor Pros currently is kind of a merger of 2 other companies, but the 3 main, the owners and myself, have been all doing this for over 15 years as parts of a company that was formerly Liquor Pros with a previous owner. They were employees that bought the company. And then I was with Esquire Petitioning Company, which is no more, and we merged our people and their people almost a year ago next week, actually. So the majority of our petitioners have been in the field for, at least 5 to 10 years. The ones of us that basically run the operation are hitting 15 plus years doing this. And we've stay neutral. We don't guarantee results. We aren't allowed to on either case of, we simply state the facts that we're presented with, the type of license, where it is, try to answer any questions that people do have. We've tried to be respectful during this COVID. We've worked all but 2 or 3 weeks the whole time. And with masks, stepping back, letting people use their own pen if they want to, or go and get their mats. That's starting to decrease more and more every week, luckily. But it's something that we can answer questions, but we can't lead them to, giving opinion. Sometimes they'll ask, what do you think or whatever. And we have to tell them that we're a neutral entity, and sometimes if they seem like they're nice, fun-loving people, we just tell them we get paid either way. But it's something that, we have to present the facts and answer the questions the best we can, but stay uninvolved as far as their decision.
okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay, does not look like you have any questions from the board, so we're good at this point.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Carol and I have worked together a few times over the years. Navdeep, do you want to come up, please? Navdeep is the president and the sole owner of the company. And basically, we're going to cover several areas. We're going to talk about his background in the industry, how the store will be run, how many employees, liquor training, his liquor policy. So those are the basic areas that we're going to cover. So the first one is, Navdeep, what is your experience in the liquor industry? How many years?
I've been working in the liquor industry for the last 20 years, and especially from last 7.5 years, I'm managing a liquor store for my family, and I never had any violations.
And your wife is going to purchase the building, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you're the owner of the store?
Store.
And what did you like about this location?
We thought this is an excellent location, and this location is surrounded by business of community of businesses, and
Well, what's nearby?
there's a grill and bar, and a construction company, and there's a pizza store, and there's a
What's your biggest one? Dollar General?
Dollar General. It's a very busy place.
So that's going to bring you a lot of
A lot of
business.
business.
Where are most of your customers going to come from, do you think? People that are visiting that?
Visiting of the plaza, basically.
How big is the store? Just a
It's
little background.
2,900 square feet from inside, and we're gonna put 20 doors cooler in there, and everything will be new in the store.
When do you plan to open?
On August
Presuming
1st.
you get approved.
August 1st on 2021.
Let me just ask you, so in addition to liquor, will you have cigarettes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anything else that you'll be selling besides those two
Whatever
items?
goes with the liquor, basically sodas and
Mixes.
some waters, whatever goes with the liquor.
Okay. All right, thank you. Please continue.
As long as we're on that, what's going to be your inventory mix? How much of this,
It's
how
going
much
to be
of that?
30% liquor and 30% of wine and 40% beer.
And are you going to carry a lot of craft beers?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to have a large selection of craft
People
beers.
really like those.
Yes.
What are your business hours going to be?
It's going to be 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Is that going to be every day?
Every day, ma'am. It's going to be every day.
And how many employees are you going to have?
In addition to myself, I will have 2 full-time and 2 part-time employees.
So it'll be 5 of you all together.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk together.
And
Can I ask about the employees? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Will they be Milliken residents, or are you
It's going to be medical
Milliken
residents.
residents? Okay, thank you.
Are you going to be in the store most of the time?
Yes, I'm going to supervise most of the time.
And have you taken the TIPS training class
Yes,
yourself?
ma'am. We did like a couple years back.
Uh-huh.
it's
So what's
expired
your
now.
plan? How are you going to train the employees?
Making sure all of employees are TIP certified and they should know the legal policies.
And we'll get into your liquor policy. We'll talk about that. And they're going to do that when? Before you open?
Yeah, before they open or either within 6 months.
And what's your plan if you hire new employees for the liquor
I
training?
will look anybody have a liquor store working experience
You want people with
and
experience?
no violations.
Okay, then let's talk next about your liquor policy. Oh, I forgot to ask you. You also told me that you were going to have the ID scanner as a
Yes.
part of your POS
Yes, I'm
system.
gonna have we're gonna have a ID scanner to the part of my POS system.
So
whether check it's fake or not.
whether it's a fraud or
That
not.
is,
And what is your liquor policy? Tell us some of the things that you're going to do and not
We
do.
will ID everyone whoever look under the age of 50, and we will accept only state issue driving license, state issue IDs, passport and military IDs, and we don't accept any.
Are you going to take the vertical IDs?
No, we won't take vertical IDs, and we don't take ID over the phone. And whichever employee violate the policy, it will be fired immediately.
Okay.
And we don't sell to drunk person,
And,
and so on.
I'm sorry, so it'll be in-store sales only, no deliveries?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Meantime, nothing in my mind, basically.
Pardon?
Meantime, I wouldn't thought about it, but it's gonna be inside, more like.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Okay,
Authority
one
have
other
any?
question is, on the same day that you incorporated your wine and spirits business, what is Five Rivers Incorporated in Seltner's Village? What is that company?
Second, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Under your name, there's a company called Five Rivers Incorporated, Lot 1, Settlers Village. Did you incorporate another business with the state of Colorado at the same time?
Not under that corporation.
No, you don't recognize the name? Five Rivers?
Five Rivers, we made a corporations.
And what does that corporation do? Do you
Who
remember?
wouldn't run the business under the corporations? I didn't get it again.
Okay, he's
You want
not
to explain me a
understanding
little
your question. You said that you found another corporation filed under his name?
Yeah, at the same time that he did the fine wines and spirits, he also did Five Rivers Incorporated with the state. and I was wondering what that business was.
That's for the corner lot that is buying.
Oh, I'm
He's also
sorry.
buying the corner lot of that Alex and Wall Street for himself.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he incorporated for that.
I wasn't familiar with that. Okay, he is buying another lot
Okay,
under that name. But
That
it
makes it
doesn't have
clear,
any
okay.
relationship to the
Yeah, that's
liquor
what
store.
all right, thank you. Any other questions from the board? No? Thank you. I think
Thank
we've got
you,
all our
everyone.
questions answered.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Do we have any comments from the public? Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Tricia Block. I'm Milliken Liquors, 811 Broad Street. I don't really have anything to say about what their business is, but I do have something to say about the undue concentration of liquor licenses. There is a rule against that happening with the state of Colorado. You will have 7 liquor licenses with theirs in a mile and a half. And I intend to bring this up to the Attorney General. You are not gaining revenue, you're splitting the revenue that you already have. And I mean, I'm not sure that we need 3 liquor stores in Milliken. Of course, that's up to you guys. You've got the liquor store, the bars and the restaurants being able to do off-premise sales of liquor, of drinks. So we've had 2 bad years. We had the grocery stores that opened and took a lot of our business away. COVID almost stripped us. And now you're bringing one more thing in to take our revenue away. I think it's unfair to us that have been here for, that liquor store I have has been here for years, giving revenue to this town. And to take mine and 257 Country over there and split our revenues down again is going to kill us. I lost $125,000 last year in sales. And do you really want a town that's known for the amount of liquor stores and liquor licenses they have? I mean, that's all I have to say. I really didn't have anything other than that, because I understand somebody wanting to put another liquor store in this town, but I think that there's so many other things you have. Also, if you're planning on putting a grocery store out there, they're not going to be able to get a liquor license because they'll be too close to them. And I can't imagine a grocery store not wanting a liquor license since they can have them now. But I think there's things there that you didn't consider. And that's all I had to say. I didn't really have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Matt, when we count the distance between liquor stores, does that include bars that sell liquor sales, or is it just retail stores with liquor sales? Because on our map,
I don't know the answer to that question.
Under the undue concentration of licenses, it's all liquor licenses, including like 7-Eleven, your bars and your restaurants that have them. I already checked all that out, but you're welcome to try it.
Just a point of clarification. The 3,000-foot distance rule is between retail liquor stores only. And if a grocery store has to, once a full retail liquor license, drugstore license, they have to buy out 2 liquor stores within 3,000 square feet of their store in order to get that license. But it is only between liquor stores unless the city has another distance restriction.
This town has less than 10,000 people. That's why that applies.
Yes, that's correct. Anyway.
we're going to need a few minutes, so just sit tight. Matt? Okay. So I'm looking here. Auto undo concentration of licenses.
It's in the regs. May consider factors. It's kind of a standard. I'm not seeing any specific.
The number of tavern or retail licenses. Population of the census tract. Law enforcement resources.
So, well, looking at our code, we can take into account, the impact on the neighborhood, and we can take into account, and look at our own standard. So, we can take this into account, but I'm not seeing a strict rule here.
No, I don't either.
I don't think there's anything. They've already passed their state licenses. This thing, they haven't even qualified under the state.
Yeah, they're qualified.
So making it our rules, you don't have anything to our code.
No, I don't.
I can read that.
Yeah.
I can read
We can take a 5-minute recess. Give you time.
I have
10
it in front
minutes.
of me.
Okay. Take 10 minutes. We'll be in recess for just a few minutes. Sit tight. We're in no rush.
Is that what you're reading?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we were just looking at. He's looking at our municipal code.
Okay.
So,
So the only standard that I find on municipal code is a very imprecise one. So this is just this is from the Secretary of State. And here, for the authority, before any decision is made, the authority shall consider facts and evidence, investigation, evidence, testimony, and the desires of the inhabitants of the neighborhood, the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood for the type of license for which application is being made. That's the only standard I've heard.
if
So-
you could breathe out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I found, I see this section, this regulation. That's what we're looking at.
And all it says is may consider these things.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah.
Great.
It's pretty in there.
Thank you. Perfect. You could read that into the record. I appreciate it. Just wanted to make sure and check and make sure that we weren't missing anything.
Do you want to take us out of recess?
Okay. Everybody ready? We're coming out of recess. It is 7:11.
If it would be helpful, I'd like to make a comment about what I believe your issue is.
Actually, we're going to have our town attorney read a segment from our municipal code.
Okay.
Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you, Mayor. So it appears that the applicable standard for the board, I'm reading from section 6-2-40, applications for liquor licenses and approvals, and that's subsection C4. And I'll emphasize what I'm focused on, but I'll read the whole subsection. The authority may continue any hearing from time to time as may be required to gather necessary facts and evidence and to permit witnesses to testify. Before entering any decision on any matter before it, the authority shall consider the facts and evidence adduced as a result of the investigation, evidence and testimony, and, when applicable, and this is the important language, the desires of the inhabitants of the neighborhood, the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood for the type of license for which application has been made, and any other pertinent matters affecting the qualifications of the applicant for the conduct of the type of business proposed. We looked briefly at the state regulation, which seems to say that the board may take into account essentially the density of the licenses. We're not seeing a strict litmus test, but I would welcome the comment of council.
Well, at this point...
Actually, council would agree.
Yeah. At this point, though, yes, there are 2 bars in the area that do serve liquor to go. It started out as a temporary situation allowed due to COVID. It has continued for a while, but there's a big difference between taking out a margarita and going into a retail liquor store and buying a 12-pack and a bottle of... They're not, to my knowledge, going into El Mexical or Burnout Grill and taking out an entire bottle of liquor. It's a mixed drink, is my understanding. So I consider those to be 2 different types of businesses. Does the board see it the same way? I'm just going to poll around. Trustee Meisner?
Absolutely.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor
Yes.
Pro Tem? Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Garrettist? Okay, so we're in agreement. It's 2 different types of businesses, so the proximity distance between this liquor store and the next liquor store is sufficient, along with what the community expressed in the survey. So I don't believe that we have an issue there. Are there comments from the board or questions? We are still convened as the Liquor Licensing Authority.
Well, I was just going to say exactly what your municipal code, I mean, certainly undue concentration can be and is under the state liquor code, can be a consideration, but it is certainly not the only consideration. The basic consideration being the needs and desires of the neighborhood, which I believe we've shown by the magnitude of the petitions of people in favor of this license.
With the understanding of the distinction we just defined, is there 3? Would this be the 3rd? There's one on 257, one here in town. And this will be the 3rd down here? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing.
Well, 7-Eleven does sell takeout liquor.
Okay.
But they are beer only.
Beer only.
Yeah, they don't have... And what does the Syntex... Far better convenience. Do they have any liquor?
They don't have liquor.
They don't have liquor.
The other question I would have is the selection of this store here versus their store. Is there a difference? Every store has a variance in, they focus on this, they focus on this. It'd be a question of mine of the difference in product offerings. Are they literally identical? Because they're already very close to 257, so the argument being made against this store, I think, would be more between the one on 257 and the one on Main Street here, because they're far closer than these 2 or 3 might be.
Correct. It sounds like they're going to offer a bit of a different selection from what they listed. But I don't think that it's up to us to regulate.
Right. But just in considering
yeah.
the comments of the other person, I forget her name, I'm sorry, but
Mrs. Bach.
Mrs. Bach, I think it's worth considering the proximity of the stores as well as the offerings of. It sounds to me they've got different niches. I'm understanding it correctly.
Okay. Any other comments, concerns?
Well, my experience, which isn't very much, is that neither of the 2 liquor stores carry anything other than Bud, Coors, your standard beers. This gentleman says he's going to be carrying craft beers. That is a whole different niche.
Really? What's a craft beer? I don't drink.
Good stuff.
Health reasons. All right, I'm so glad we've got that clarified. Thank you very much, Voice from Beyond.
That's the small independent breweries that we have so many of in Colorado.
All right, understood. I did more humor for all of you. Any other questions, concerns, or comments? All right, thank you. If there is nothing further, I'll take a motion on the matter.
Don't you have to close the hearing?
No, we vote before we close the,
Okay.
well, I was going to
You have
close.
to close the public
Oh, you want me to close the public hearing? I can do that. It is 7:17 and the public hearing is now closed. Now I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the retail license for fine wines and spirits located at 1750 Broad Street, Unit 100, Milliken, Colorado.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. We are now going to reconvene as the town board. We can all remain seated, same seats. We have nothing on the action agenda. The discussion agenda is the cash in lieu. We didn't put an action item on the agenda to vote on the cash in lieu?
We can. We preserve that right. If you look at the bottom of our agenda, we certainly can vote.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you now.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
If we can keep it down in the audience, if you guys can converse outside, that would be great.
If we want to take action, we can do so. We reserve that right. If you look at the bottom of your agenda, anything that's on the agenda can be acted upon,
Okay.
in essence.
So we'll have to amend the agenda.
You can if you want to.
We will have to. Says right there.
Okay. All right, so on the cash in lieu school district fees, we discussed this at length at our last meeting. We have just finished meeting with the school board in our work session. Is there any additional commentary? I'll run around the room and check for any input, and then we can move forward from there. Starting with Trustee Granquist, do you have any comments on the discussion?
Not at this time.
Trustee Long?
I think my question still stands on what's next.
Okay, that is another next part of the discussion. Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
As they stated, they think that we maybe should look at a new intergovernmental agreement. So I guess I'm leaning towards disassembling or disbanding or whatever you call it, the one that we have, dissolve it with the cash in lieu of going in an escrow account until we come up with a new intergovernmental agreement. Is that something that can be done?
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich, currently right now, the checks we receive from the developer for each new home is already made out to the Weld RE5J school district. It just physically passes through us.
Okay.
So
if we dissolve the cash in lieu of,
I would recommend against it. I did share a memo with some extensive research related to cash in lieu fees, and I think that if we want to collect money and find a way to use it for education, that we need to do something besides simply continue to impose this fee. There does not appear to be any ordinance in our town pertaining to this fee. So my advice is that we should not continue to collect that if we terminate the IGA.
okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Trustee Wakeman?
I wish to disclose that I am a member of both the RE5J School Board and Milliken Town Board. After consulting with attorneys for both entities, I received no financial gain, so I don't have a conflict of interest in either position. And I have no other comment.
Okay. Trustee Rodriguez?
I have no comment.
Trustee Meisner?
Well, I'm inclined to agree with with Matt. I think we maybe ought to forego collecting the cash in lieu until we get a reasonable IGA with the school district, something that they can abide by.
Agreed. With some stipulations. So I would take a motion to put onto the agenda an action item.
So just to be clear, we do have, I believe, an obligation to collect the cash in lieu fee unless we terminate the IGA. So there was a draft letter that was circulated for that purpose.
Correct.
And I wouldn't, so I think we understand that we don't want to stop collecting if the IGA remains in place.
Correct. So we would make a decision on the current IGA as an action item, and then discuss moving forward with a new IGA and a possible municipal code that goes with it that allows us to collect it. Correct?
To collect something, yes.
To collect something, yes.
And I just for your so you're aware, I did try to do a kind of a scoping session on what some of the options might be that the town could implement in order to support local education. They're quite diverse, and I'm happy to talk about those if you'd like at some point.
Okay. All right, so we'll settle the current cash in lieu first. Does somebody want to make a motion to amend the agenda for a decision?
I move to amend the agenda for the decision on the cash in lieu.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so we've amended the agenda. I'll take a motion on the status of the current IGA for cash in lieu.
I move
Just to suggest a motion, I think that the motion probably should be to authorize the town attorney to send the draft letter terminating the IGA. I believe that's what we're talking about.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, I move to ask the town attorney to draft a letter concerning the IGA to the school board
And terminating the IGA.
and terminating the IGA.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
No.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Then we need to talk about the future. Do we need another amendment?
No.
Okay, we can just continue with our discussion.
Yes.
I'm very much in favor of a new IGA with supporting municipal code that allows us to collect a fee, whatever our attorney is able to develop. But I think the IGA needs to be very specific in where the funds are spent, how they're spent. We probably need to strike the capital outlay because that created quite a bit of confusion. We don't want it spent on maintenance. It needs to be for new site acquisition, new schools. Just a moment. I'll bring out my piece of paper. So,
Is this new IGA among the same entities?
it's among the same entities, but basically it is as the result of school growth, or the result of growth in the community that has the impact on the school. And I think we want to include provisions that it be spent on, it may be spent for purchasing property for charter schools as well as other public schools. Administrator Powell, do you have some recommendations that you would add into that from reviewing the core request?
I do agree with you that the capital outlay amount should be removed. I think there's several interpretations in regard to that, unless you specify what those capital outlays could be it a new roof, which could be very expensive and hard to budget for if something should occur. That extends the life of that building, so you don't end up with another problem like Ledford Elementary. Schools are meant to last much longer than what they are. So I think if you specify what those capital outlays, and this is me personally speaking, specify what those could be used for, I think that would clear the mud out of all this. But site acquisition, school expansion,
correct,
new construction, those types of things definitely need to be looked at. But I think based on what you were saying earlier, it needs to be looked at in Milliken. If Milliken dollars are being collected, then it should be spent in the community in which it's collected. Even though it's for a district, we need to serve our residents first.
Correct. Additionally, I think there should be a clause in there that the spending needs to be agreed upon between the school board and the town board. It's not a single decision, and I'd like to remove the superintendent from having that authority, because clearly prior to 2018 that authority was abused and funds were clearly misspent. So I'd like to keep the spending at the approval of both boards, and I think that that will help us be more agreeable on what benefits our community. What are your thoughts? Or are you in agreement with that? Is there?
I don't know if it's possible to have some additional flexibility, and does that, because it's an IGA, does that money essentially become earmarked for a cooperative expenditure, or can we structure it in a different way where we can cooperate with 5J and spend it that way, but we could also make a decision to spend it in the scholastic realm, but for a charter school or something else, even if 5J disapproves. We still have control of those funds and the ability to vote as a board and allocate those funds towards scholastic resources, even against, if there's an opposition, if there's a contention of opinions or wills. I think because it's the money we're collecting, it's our community's money, that we, I think, are really held in the chiefest accountability to our citizenry as to how that's spent. And so we should have the ability, if needs be, to allocate in our judgment, if that's possible.
I think it's something to be researched.
Yes. Yeah, I get uneasy about this because of some of the protection that's in place in the former IGA, and I'm not certain whether the school board will give that same protection if the town takes control over the spending. So we can certainly talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Long, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think he hit on what I was going to ask.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Early?
I would say that we give the town attorney direction to start drafting something sooner than later.
Right. I don't want to see this drag out for 6 months.
I think we can take the IGA we got and make the changes. Big one being that the superintendent doesn't have discretion on where it's spent. So,
sure.
Is that something that you can get going on?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Waker?
I would like to see that IGA include strong language. I don't know that I would say to make it mandatory that we have a joint meeting with the school district board like once a year. I think tonight's meeting was very beneficial for them understanding where we're coming from, what our objectives were, and I just would like to see us work together better, because obviously we need them, they need us.
Sure.
Trustee Rodriguez?
I have no comment.
Trustee Muser?
Well, I want to make sure that the IGA specifies that they do have to account for the funds. Unlike, the IGA we have now specifies that they are supposed to give us an accounting of the funds by the 1st of October, by the end of October, somewhere in that area. We haven't seen one since 2004.
We haven't seen proper reports. We got a letter in 2018, and then in March 12th, we did get an update of how many funds they have on deposit, and that's what we've got. So, agreed. Okay, so I think we've got direction on that. Any final comments? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a review and discussion of the Town of Johnstown referral for Riverbend Estate Subdivision. Pepper McClanahan, Community Development Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Mayor and Trustees. Before you tonight is what Johnstown refers to as an ODP, which is an outline development plan. It's similar in nature to a sketch plan. This is for a total of 172.39 acres, and it's located east of County Road 17 and south of County Road 46. So basically it's northwest of the existing Stroh Farm subdivision, filing number 1. The total proposed single-family structures, dwellings, is 244. On about an open space between the two filings is about 69 acres. I did include one of the pages of the traffic report. Staff reviewed the application packet and recommends that the board request additional information for vehicle trips and traffic impacts to County Road 46 in an easterly direction towards Milliken. The turning movements and the vehicle trips seem to be focused heavily on going north, south, and west, and not really evaluating whether there's any impact in traffic to Milliken. And then we also would encourage them to consider trail alignment or open space alignment in the proposed development to be consistent with adopted trail plans in the area, Milliken's, as well as Wildcat Trail and any other regional plans that have been adopted. This property is annexed into Johnstown. It is not within our growth boundary area, which ends at County Road 19, but it is in our 3-mile area of influence. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the board?
No.
No.
No?
Can you state the crossroads again?
It's 17 and 19, so basically when you're coming down 17, heading north into Johnstown, there's that residential development to the west. As you're coming down the hill, this is where this area will be, kind of in the flats.
So it's across from Pioneer Ridge? Am I getting it right?
I don't think it's
across and north. It's north of Pioneer Ridge, so across from Kleins, kind of, I believe. Closer to the Klein farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's west of 17.
Okay.
If you take Parish South, just as you get to the river, right before you kind of go up the hill, what's that?
Any other board comments? Trustee Rodriguez?
No.
Trustee Meester?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
I would agree with staff recommendation, though, for the comments that and requests for additional information, right?
I will forward it to Johnstown. Thank you.
Okay, next item is the information agenda for the Del Eterno preliminary PUD. You're up again, Peppermint Glen.
Mayor and trustees, this particular PUD is located in the city limits of Greeley. It is property that's already annexed into their jurisdiction. It is quite large. It consists of 822 acres and consists of a variety of different developments, including a school site, attached, detached, single family, various densities of single family, as well as commercial and industrial. And I listed in the staff report the breakdown of all of those. Quite a number of attached single family, maximum units of 1,792, a total at max density of 2,168 single family detached dwellings. This is located south of Highway 34 and basically north of County Road 56. So it's not bordering 54, which is the Freedom Parkway. It's just north of that. We have similar comments for this one that we had for the last item on the agenda. I think that we could request that the city of Greeley provide additional information on vehicle trips. They really didn't address anything to the south. They mostly assumed that everything was going to go north and west. So I think it would be beneficial if we had some vehicle trips noted along 257 corridor south to Highway 60. And then again, making sure that the trail alignments are consistent with already adopted plans of other jurisdictions. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Pretty clear. Any questions from the board?
I don't have a question. I have information.
I'm sorry, what?
I have information, not a question.
On this? Oh, then go ahead.
So this property is located within School District RU5J. And I think that it would be of interest for the town board to become familiar with this development and what's planned there, even though it's in the city of Greeley.
It's to be developed in five phases. They do have some single family focused along 257 and then towards the interior to the west. They do have substantial amounts of industrial planned in terms of acreage, as well as commercial with, I believe there's two connections to two new approaches that would come onto Highway 257. Of course, they're going to need to coordinate and obtain approach permits from CDOT for those. And this one is not sketched, this is preliminary, so the next step for this development would be to go to a final development plan, which I believe will probably also get noticed for that as well.
I would agree with you that traffic study would be important for us to understand, because if the school district is providing transportation there, that's going to impact our roads.
And we may not be able to get that until they do the final plan and the final traffic report, but I think we would be wise to put them on notice that we want additional information.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. The rest of the agenda was removed, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, can I just interrupt a second, Pepper?
Yeah.
Could we speak a little bit about what's occurring down in 48 and a half and Highway 257 with the Loveland Ready Mix?
Absolutely. So this property is owned by Loveland Ready Mix. It is just south of the railroad tracks and south of the golf course. It is not annexed into the town of Milliken. It is in the county's jurisdiction. Cheryl and Scott and I were invited by the property owners to go out and tour the property, listen to their plans to do aggregate mining in the area. They're in the process of not only putting their mining permit together for the state, which will include environmental assessments, any permits they're required to pull from the Corps or EPA, and the property is going to be in the floodway when the mapping is approved, the remapping effort is approved. The difference between floodplain and floodway is in the floodplain, the 100-year floodplain, you have the option of doing two things if you want to do construction. You can elevate 1 foot above base flood. You can flood-proof the buildings. In the floodway, it's pretty impossible to do any structures because the floodway is defined as the fringe of the actual river or water body channel. So it's considered on channel. And as a result of that, obviously in a flood, you don't want things that are going to be washing into the channel, being carried downstream, clogging up bridges, and some of the other things that residents here are very familiar with from 2013. So we have gotten calls from residents. We've explained to them that we don't have the authority to prevent land uses within the county's jurisdiction any more than the county can tell us what we can approve or zone. However, we do have the same options for reviewing when we get the referral, and we will when they apply, making the same comments and addressing any perceived impacts that we have. The information we have so far from them is that the majority of the traffic is going to go west down 48.5 and then north on County Road 13 because their batch plant is up on County Road 13. So it doesn't appear at this point, based on what the applicants recommended to us or the property owners advise us of, that there'll be many impacts to Highway 257 or 60 or Milliken. However, they have not made application yet, so we haven't gotten a formal referral. It was nice of them to contact us and give us kind of a heads up. So if you get citizens' comments, that's kind of the skinny. I think they're planning on submitting an application sometime in the next couple of months to the county. So happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
So this matter came before the town of Milliken previously, several years back, but I don't recall what the request was at that time. Do you have any history of this location coming before the town previously?
I can research that. I'm not aware of anything specific. Did they request to annex or?
You know, I don't recall if it was annexation or I'm pretty sure it was denied, whatever their request was. But I don't recall what it was.
We can certainly research that easily enough.
Okay.
Was it, Trustee Wakeman, was it the same property owners that, do you recall? Do you know?
It was Loveland Ready Mix,
Was it?
yes.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. Then one last item, if I might indulge. We've been working with DOLA's training group to do a joint training, if you're interested, with the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission, kind of a Planning 101 heading into our comp plan, our next comp plan update. The mayor suggested and the town administrators suggested that we place that on a planning commission work session rather than, as you guys are pretty busy with your own. So I just wanted to kind of poll the group and see if you would be available either, well, there's one next week. I don't know if the training team can make it that quick, but one of the two planning commission work sessions in June, if that would work.
I'll go with the majority of the board. I think June is probably pretty good.
Yeah, or further out.
Yeah.
So the first or the second, either one make a difference?
I don't,
The first meeting of the,
I can't attend on the 16th.
so June 2nd, sounds like?
okay.
I will shoot for that and let you know. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done. We're out.